Hello and welcome back to the Geek Show. So we're going to be moving on to our section 2 where we will finally start discussing the topic of the day, Percy Jackson. Oh my god, have you hurt your finger just as
I just got a weird twinge in my pinky. No, not my pinky, my ring finger.
Your freaky hands, like E.T. hands.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is that count as bullying? It probably does count as bullying.
Yeah, I should complain too.
Oh, no, don't complain about me. Forgive me.
No, it's fine. I'm joking. I do have messed up hands, I will admit that.
Right, so I thought we'd just kick off today by discussing how we actually got into Percy Jackson. There is a lot of, material to cover. You've got your books, you've got the spin-offs, you've got the movies, and then you've got what is the upcoming TV shows. So yeah, when did you first learn about the wonderful world of Percy Jackson?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure?
Yeah, so it was like about 14, I want to say. It was like that. Would that be like second year of secondary school?
Probably, yeah, that's second, third year.
Yeah. And one of my friends was like reading them and she told me to get into them, so I did, and then rest history. But I only read the first series, like the Percy Jackson books.
Yeah.
And then kind of just forgot about them, and then it came to lockdown, like 2020, like the first lockdown. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to reread the Percy Jackson books, so I reread them because I had them, and then I was like, I actually got into this again. So then I was like 18, outside the target audience, but it's fine. And then I bought the Heroes Olympus books, and then I got into Trials of Apollo, and I'm currently about to start the third Trials of Apollo book.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was kind of... Actually, no, it wasn't the same as you. I didn't actually start reading the Percy Jackson books until I was probably S6, first year of uni, which I know is very late.
You really missed the target audience point.
Yeah, like, really late to the party. I would like to say fashionably late, though. And also, like, I watched the movies first, which is totally the wrong way to watch it. You should read the
Something
books
not right with that one.
Read the books and then watch the movie. And I remember watching the first movie and thinking, this isn't so bad. I wonder why nobody likes these movies. And then you read the first book, and I just put the book down very slowly and went, I understand now.
They're 12.
I know.
They're up 12 in the film.
But you know what's crazy, though, I will say about the movies, is that Percy does kind of... that's what I imagine the older Percy to look like.
Yes! I was talking to this about this to... I want to say it was Molly last week, when I mentioned to her we're doing the Percy Jackson show. And she was saying something like that, like... They were the casting were a good cast if it had been Heroes Olympus, Percy and Annabeth.
Yeah. And what's weird
because they were the right age to play like late teens.
Yeah, I mean the thing is I was like, so I think I read all the Percy Jackson books. It's a sort of book. I found it really difficult to put it down, and that sounds really cliche. Especially because obviously I'm a book nerd, so I've obviously said that over and over again. Like I couldn't put this book down. But for Percy Jackson, there's something very unique about Rick Riordan's writing. Like, he's almost a bit like... I know he was an English teacher.
Was he?
Yeah, fun fact, he was an English teacher.
He
wasn't. He wasn't an English teacher. He was a history teacher or something. He was a teacher anyway. And I feel like his writing is... You can kind of tell he's a teacher. Or he was a teacher. But yeah, I mean, how far have you got with the Percy Jackson books? Have you made it to Trials of Apollo yet, or...?
Yeah, I'm about to start the third book of Trials of Apollo. So I've read the entire Percy Jackson, entire Heroes Olympus, which I actually prefer Heroes Olympus, and then I'm on Trials of Apollo.
Nice. I mean, I think you've now caught up with me and then overtaken me.
Well, you haven't read Heroes Olympus.
No, it's weird. I've actually skipped out of Heroes Olympus. Which
Why?
Means
it's the best lot for me.
I mean, I don't know. I just wasn't that interested. Like, I tried reading it, and I just found the characters very... You're going to leap over the desk, and I don't want to say it now.
Maybe you're thankful that there is a plastic screen between us, because I think I've been leaping across the table right now, aren't you?
Exactly. This plastic screen is protecting me from COVID and from Zaraf. Like...
Yeah. I think that... I mean, it does move. That's a weird noise. It does move.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I just found the characters a bit annoying in Heroes of Olympus. And then... It's weird because then Trials of Apollo shows up, and I know Apollo you're not meant to like. I don't know.
No, I just can't like.
I find Apollo.
I think that's why it's taking me a while to get through the Trials of Apollo, because it's from his perspective.
He's a very slow learner. Like he's not
an annoying narrator.
I think he's an interesting narrator because up until this point you've only ever got the perspective of the demigods. And you've never actually...
I mean, that's true. Although I do quite... Because obviously in the Percy Jackson series, you have the... it's just from Percy's perspective. And then Heroes of Olympus, it swaps between perspectives. That's why I quite like it, because there's some characters that if it's just Percy's perspective, he might not like the character, and therefore...
You end up not liking
you don't like him because it's from, like, his perspective. But then you get to, like, Heroes of Olympus, and it's from, like, another character's perspective, and you go, actually, it's just Percy's got a vendetta against them.
I think one of the characters from the Heroes of Olympus that kind of got a little bit of redemption was Nico, because I don't think Percy is ever quite...
Got on with Nico, and Nico's my favourite character.
Nico is, and he's like the sort of person that we must protect. Like, you know.
Yeah, no, I love him.
Cause sweetie.
Is he not like 7 or something when we first meet him?
Yeah, he's a really little kid.
He's really young.
Which makes sense, which is why Percy probably doesn't get on with him as well, because he finds him annoying and childish.
Yeah, and then we kind of just like watch him grow up, which is quite sweet.
It's quite, and it's you kind of get to see Nico's struggles almost, because... Yeah, any 7-year-old is going to blame Percy for...
But he's also a 7-year-old who just came from World War II era and got trapped in a hotel.
Yeah.
A casino thing for years, and so therefore didn't age.
Yeah,
and realised, actually, it's the 21st century now. Whoops.
Yeah, and the thing is one character I would have liked to hear a little bit more about, and it's quite sad that she did, spoiler alert, die, was obviously Bianca D'Angelo.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's a character that... I always kind of resented her for abandoning Nico, just being like, I'm going to go and shoot animals now, Nico. You have fun at camp.
Oh, yeah, because she joins the...
She joins the hunters, yeah.
Yeah. I did find that quite annoying that, like, she literally just got out of the casino with Nico. We're found by, like, Percy
and then she's
and Annabeth, and then I was like, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to leave you, Nico. Even though we're both struggling in this new world, effectively, because times have moved on so fast for them. She's like, no, bye.
But in some sense, like... I would kind of like to see more of her perspective, just because, okay, we're both the elder siblings out of our brother and sister, brothers and sister. I know.
I've only got one.
I feel double the burden, but like, so it'd be kind of I suppose you can understand wanting to leave your siblings. Maybe, I don't know. Has your brother ever annoyed you so much that you know?
Well, I mean, I have moved out, not because of my siblings, not because of my brother. And definitely not because of Tilly.
Yeah.
Who I technically count as a sibling. Judge me if you will.
I don't know. I think maybe because... Okay, when I was growing up, I was constantly having to look after my brother and sister. I think you probably obviously had to do that with Fraser as well.
Yeah, probably. I don't really remember.
So, like, basically, whenever anything went wrong, especially with getting my brother and sister to school on time, it's constantly my fault.
That's the problem. I remember when I was still living at home, my brother is... procrastinator, and you'd have to just chuck him out the door.
So, like, there's sometimes I do think, you're like, you must have these moments where you're like, I wish I was an only child. And I'm kind of understand Bianca leaving Nico.
But I've never really had that. Like, I do love my brother.
Oh my god, you need another sibling. Like, that way you'll understand the two sibling struggle.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem is I've only got one.
I know.
You have 2 younger siblings.
Oh, yeah.
That would be quite annoying.
So have you read any of Rick Riordan's other books?
I've read the first book in the Kane Chronicles, which I believe is a trilogy, years ago, so I couldn't for life of me tell you what happened in it. Yeah. But I did enjoy it, but I just didn't go back to it.
I think, it was the only book that I've read that's outside the Percy Jackson. It's still kind of related though, is obviously the Gods and Monsters book, which is a lot more of Rick Riordan kind of teachings a bit more about Greek mythology, and we'll get onto that later when we talk about the books versus the movies sort of thing. But he's got an interesting way of putting the Greek myths, because obviously he has to make them child friendly, because there's no way he could actually tell the Greek myths as they were originally told. It would probably scar some children for life.
I couldn't even tell you how they're really told, because most of my basis knowledge of the Greek gods is because of Percy Jackson, and I've never really researched into what actually happened. I don't
think I was ever interested in the Greek mythology before I read Percy Jackson. Like, I knew there was I'd watched the Hercules movie from Disney.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's a good movie. Great songs, and of course it's got Hades as the villain, which is the typical portrayal of Hades at the moment. But yeah, I think. Yeah, I like how Rick Riordan writes. I'm going to say that. He's an interesting author. Yeah, so let's wrap that up now, and we'll be moving quickly on to our section 3, which is going to be a discussion of book versus movie. Which one will win, I wonder.
Hard to choose.
Hard to decide.